Welcome to Watcher DM. I'm Gabriel, and today I'm continuing my series of flip through and review videos. Today I'll be covering the Trouble in Twin Lakes, the Cairn Adventure Series 1. This is an adventure module for Cairn 2E by Yochai Gal. Trouble in Twin Lakes is the first in a series of standalone adventures for the Cairn 2nd Edition adventure game. It did come in the box set in this printed format, and it kind of it's set within Vald, the Vald kind of implied setting of the Cairn 2nd Edition rule set, but could be really used anywhere. And Alicia and I played this adventure kind of together. It was a little duet. I kind of DM'd, but it was very enjoyable. It was a really cool adventure. And we'll just, I think, probably get right into it. I guess before I do, if you like these types of videos, please hit the like button, subscribe if you want to see more of them, hit the bell icon if you want to be notified. And if you want to get these like a week early, go to my Patreon, patreon.com/watcherdm, and you can get early access to these and a bunch of other stuff. All right, Trouble in Twin Lakes. So it was written by Yochai Gal and with editing by Derek B. and editing assistance by, I'm going to butcher this, but I'm pretty sure it's Yossi Kraus. Could be wrong, but I think that's how you pronounce it. Layout and locale maps by Adam Hensley, and cover art and region maps by Arimati Toivonen. That name is super familiar, and I'm trying to remember where I know that from. Arimati Toivonen. I feel... Oh, this is Wuggy. Right. This is Wuggy. So, again, I want to call out the cool things about this. This text of this is released as Creative Commons by attribution, so it's attribution share alike. So you can actually reproduce the text from this if you want to and share it with your friends. Very graceful, gracious, generous offering from Yochai, and the Cairn effort. He seems to have really embraced, walk the walk. that's Yochai. Anyway, so this is the same kind of text. It's on the back there. It does talk a little bit about rules and procedures, so it is expecting the use of the core backgrounds and the dungeon exploration procedures from Cairn 2nd Edition. It uses relative distances between various locales, and so the wilderness procedures are not very likely to be of much use, which is super interesting to kind of call that out in the at the beginning of the adventure, like, oh hey, like this doesn't really apply to this particular adventure, so maybe just skip it. You get a couple of hooks here. The Tideborn have agreed to pay the party a sum of 750 gold pieces for determining Aldra's whereabouts. So 2 weeks ago, Aldra, the beloved butcher of Isthmus Town, suddenly vanished without a trace. Some days ago, a local teen reported seeing a man swallowed up by the earth near Deadmill. Others have also gone missing. Now the townsfolk are left wondering who might be next. So the Tideborn have agreed to pay some money for determining where Aldra went. A bonus of 250 gold pieces is to be paid in the event that the man's body is recovered and returned to a Tideborn acolyte for proper burial. They're to meet with Flavia at the butcher in Isthmus Town before they begin their search. The cities are offering 200 gold pieces a piece to anyone who can help locate Yandi. I think it's Yandi, so I'm going to pronounce it. A tithing man who was meant to return days ago with the latest tithe. The party will only be rewarded if the tithe is returned intact and accounted for. They are to meet with Reeve Trellis at the Stuffed Inn before they begin their search. So, what's really going on here? Again, this is one of those. I think it's a Cairn-ism, maybe a Yochai-ism in terms of like writing, but really setting up the adventure and then saying like what's actually going on is great. So, spoilers for this. You should assume spoilers if you're watching my channel. I guess I should say that. What appears at first to be a set of interconnected events are simply coincidences. Aldra's fate and that of the man at Deadmill are in fact completely unrelated. While both the return of Vuk and the Swallowed Man shares some of the characters and locations, the preceding events have nothing to do with one another. So this is a great example of like letting the players infer a bunch of meaning that doesn't exist and just kind of letting that be the case. It's a great example of calling that out, I think, in people. So the return of Vuk. 6 months ago, for most of his life, Fasha was a meek, selfish farmer making a meager living in Dunstan. For some time, he'd been the right-hand man to Reeve Trellis, regularly helping him steal from the tithe owed to the cities, and hiding a portion of the goods at the abandoned home in Dunstan in the dead of night. One day, while walking near Bone Sump, Fasha heard a woman's voice calling to him from beneath the waters, calling herself Vuk. I'm assuming that's pronounced Vuk. The voice pleaded with him to free her. Fasha agreed and was granted the Eye of Vuk in return. 3 weeks ago, the late-night activities of Fasha and the Reeve drew the attention of the local butcher, Aldra. He followed the men back to Dunstan, hoping to catch them in the act, but Fasha was prepared, ambushing the butcher and dragging him to the Temple of the Fungal Lizard on page 16. There, his heart was ripped from his body and consumed by Vuk. And though Reeve Trellis knows that Fasha is responsible for what happened to Aldra, fear and selfishness keep him complicit. Now, weeks have passed since Aldra's disappearance. Meanwhile, each day, Vuk demands more sacrifices to help quicken her rebirth. Every other evening, Fasha will kidnap a victim and take them to the Temple of the Fungal Lizard to have their still beating hearts consumed by Vuk the following morning. So, nice little calendar here that's like, these are the days, and kind of the clock that's running. And you've got your victims table here for who will be targeted, which is great. And then there's the second mystery going on in parallel is the Swallowed Man. And this is the mystery of Yandi. 1 week ago, Yandi the Scrivener regularly traveled to Isthmus Town to collect tithe on behalf of the cities. For months, he had been writing a minor history of the region, interviewing locals and visiting various cultural sites. As part of that study, he visited Deadmill, page 13, 1 week before the adventure begins. Unfortunately for Yandi, the place was rife with sinkholes and quicksand. Unaware of the dangers, Yandi fell into quicksand and died. Due to his proximity to the Echo Spark, however, he was brought back, but with no memory of his death. He then stepped into the quicksand again, continuing the endless death loop. The following night, Drum, a local teen, saw the earth swallow a man whole at Deadmill. With the full moon only 2 days away, rumor that something nefarious is afoot are spreading like wildfire. Now, a few days later, Anna Frenax, the frog witch of the Stone Forest, came to Deadmill to recharge a time loop device called the Echo Spark beneath the millstone. When Yandi arrived, she quickly hid. Realizing the potential to be found in a death loop, Anaphernax hid a wisp lamp nearby, using Yandi's endless suffering to enhance the trapped creature's power. On the next full moon, she will return to Deadmill to toss the wisp lamp into the quicksand. The resulting energy will rip open a gate to the roots. See page 23. There's a couple of villainous things going on here. This Anaphernax, plot, I don't necessarily fully understand. It's kind of interesting, but yeah. I'm not 100% sure how that works out. I don't think we ended up dealing with that in our playthrough. You've got your important NPCs here listed with some bullet points that describe important key features to them. I'm not going to go and read through all of this, but it's basically a whole spread of NPCs, which is very nice and well organized. You get the Twin Lakes map locations, and just pretty clear what's happening here. The Stone Forest is to the north. East and West Lake lie on either side of Isthmus Town. Dunstan is down here to the south. The Drowns is a swamp to the east, and the Bone Sump is kind of out here on the end of this little, I call it an estuary, or it's a river of some stripe. And then the White Tower Fens is there's kind of a ruined tower out there. And then to the south is the Humpbacks, which, I'm not really sure where the Humpbacks are. I don't think we really dealt with that. We just assumed we were coming in from the farming path. You've got some rumor tables here. These are great. these are the rumors heard on the road. These are the encounter tables. And this just kind of happens like anywhere you are within this area. Oh, of course, in Deadmill's up there. Bloodsuckers swarm, drawn to body heat. They are nearly impossible to fight off, but willingly fly into open flame. Unless avoided, everyone adds a fatigue. Is a great encounter. A young woman walks west, dressed in fine clothes. I crossed the humpbacks just to see if the frog woman out there in the woods. I've heard she makes curatives for all sorts of problems. I'm waiting for the next full moon to try and find her. So this kind of, indicates that the frog, witch, Anaphernax, only comes out in the full moon. So kind of a little bit of information. I will admit, I don't think that Alicia found these rumors particularly helpful when she hit across them, but it didn't matter too much. She was invested in engaging with what was going on anyway, so I was able to find some stuff out. Isthmus Town, nice little map here describing the layout of the place and establishing the factions, the Orders of the Nine and the Tideborn. Then you get the Stuffed Inn as a location, which is on the map here as inn. You've got your outside description, your inside description, and then this is Reeves' office is inside of the Stuffed Inn, and the cellar is underneath it. There's kind of a lot happening here, actually. So it's one of the things I like about this is it sets up a scenario for the party to kind of get into the mystery right from just poking around at the inn. And they can kind of get into trouble with it too, which is great. Because remember, Reeves is in on this. He's kind of accomplice to this series of murders. So yeah, you got your tithing ledger is down here and can, like, there's a fake ledger and a tithing ledger. And if they can both be found and compared, you can basically get the evidence you need to show that there's some fraud going on, which is great. You get the butcher shop's location here and Jiva's home. I think it's pronounced Jiva. So those are Butcher, Inn, and Jiva's house. That's pretty much all the locations that are described in Isthmus Town. You get the farming path and how it is described. And then if you head out east, on the south side of East Lake Pass, you'll end up passing through Dunstan. I don't think it was necessarily obvious at the outset when we were playing, like how, like, these are very much like actual kind of medieval European villages in that they're small and they're relatively close together. So, it was kind of interesting being like, yeah, like you can go there. It's just down over there, like go around the corner kind of thing. Far enough away that you can't see it from the town you're in, but not far enough away that you're like, well, that took 2 weeks, So it's interesting. The locations here described they're great. So there's some treasure, I think, you can find, which is really there's a pendant and some cash. There's some reeds here, which is a little weird. And then I think under the floorboards, there's some of the stolen tithe is here of the abandoned home. So the abandoned home, the farmhouse, and Fasha's farm are the locations. The old mill road. So this takes you up to, there's a dried riverbed. If we look at the map of the area, it's a little weird because you really don't see the riverbed on this map, but that's basically what's there. Is like the mill kind of points north and up into the old river. And this talks about the stone forest. This is your stat block for night cats. Is down here. The critical damage on the night cat. The night cat begins to eat the target while they are still alive. Which is great. Does strength damage directly. Deadmill has an interior and a water wheel. This is a really well described area. I think there is a tithing record here with Yondi's satchel. Yeah. Yeah, so there's a notebook and a tithing record. The notebook, this is, one of the things about this, I guess, one of the things that I guess surprised me about this was how focused it was on the mystery and solving the mystery and exploring the area. It works amazingly well. Running it, I think the whole time we were curious and engaged with what was going on, and finding stuff out was the joy. Unfortunately, it looks like my staples are a little weird. Yeah. Not sure what's going on there. East Lake Pass. This takes you through White Tower Fens here. The White Tower is here on the southwest side. There's a game trail that kind of goes around. And this place is trapped. So you're likely to hit a pit trap or hit the log trap. There's a little creek here. It's nice to have this kind of information so you can run the place as more interesting than just, you walk through the swamp, it's fine, and then you've got the White Tower and the Bone Sump, which, if I remember correctly, I don't think the Bone Sump is really on this. It's like the creek terminates in a small bog just a few minutes walk south of White Tower. So it is outside of range of this map, which is a little weird, but it's fine. A smell of rot and decay permeates the area. On the west end of the bog is a large mound of grass and detritus. The area does not appear on any maps and is known only to Fasha and Giva. There's a mound here that is basically the entry to the Temple of the Fungal Lizards, which is kind of the dungeon the party is probably going to end up exploring if they want to. There is no light in here. You've got some really punchy little descriptions here. And interesting treasures. So the statues are worth some money. T2, a thin hall divides the rooms, chambers built into each side. So on the north side are stacks of paper products. And on the south side are rows of chipped pottery. On the southwest wall, 2 large horizontal seams are arranged in a parallel a few feet apart. Seams, right, this is the seam, is this hatch to T4. I found this description a little confusing because this room doesn't, I don't know, the way it's described, it didn't lock to me what was happening here on the physical map. Maybe that's down to me being easy to confuse, but it felt weird. The breeding chamber is terrifying. Fungal growths sprout from 3 sacs scattered across the floor. All but one has burst, leaving behind large gaping holes. A 4th nodule sits intact. Yeah, gross. Embryonic chambers for the Sararu. A learned person would note that they appear to have burst weeks ago. So whatever the Suraru are, they're birthed. They're out here. They're running around. You got your maintenance tunnels, your Hall of Glyphs, which, if I remember, was really interesting. Hall of Glyphs, you get a bunch of carvings, kind of telling a story about what's going on here, which is kind of cool. Waste disposal is in T6, which is another really interesting. All these rooms, they're really interesting. And their purpose, while weird and arcane, is also well articulated. The light room smells like ozone. I seem to remember this room being extremely weird. T7, right. It's really weird. So it's in here. There's a force field. There's also this wall of muck is built up here, and I can't remember what the drain is in T8 preparation room. Yeah, I think there's a clear view of T7 and the fungal growth in T9. Yeah, when it automatically activates when any weight is placed on the grate, sprays a massive gush of superheated water. So it just squirts like superheated water into the room, which is terrible. The Chamber of Worship is T9, so that's your kind of large chamber here. And then T10 is Interrogation Room Door. So T10A and T10B are like both the interrogation room. The door is interesting enough to kind of have its own description, and notably, it can be opened using a curved dagger found in T4. So the curved dagger with the red jewel on it is a special key to this door. And then, yeah, so Vuk is an ash phantom in here. And, yeah, she can be dealt with if she hasn't returned yet. Has a nice little picture of Vuk, which is great. And then, yeah, this kind of describes how she works. There's also a memory prism. So, yeah, this is really fun. Yeah, you'll have to explore that to get your hands on it. This describes the different conclusions to the adventure, which is great. And relics and items that you can find here. One of the things I noticed, and you probably did too, is that anytime they mention, the three hearts, says page 3. I think the eye of, let's see, where was it? Yeah, so curved dagger says go to page 23. Page 23, curved dagger. Used by overseers to control their unruly pets. When used against a Suraru Imperator, its damage is enhanced. Acts as a key to open the room in T10A. So, yeah, just really well organized. The Roots and the Tideborn are both concepts in Vald lore and are described here in that context, which is great. And, yeah, that is the whole adventure. Explored in some great depth. It's a 24-page zine, I think, like cover to cover. And yeah, really fantastic. If you want a starter adventure for Cairn 2nd Edition, I couldn't recommend a better one than Twin Lakes, as it really encompasses, I think, what Yochai was trying to achieve with Cairn 2nd Edition, and it does that amazingly well. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. Again, if you did, please hit the like button and subscribe, yada yada. But also, go check out Trouble in Twin Lakes. Pick this up. Support Yochai and effort he's doing. Obviously, amazing creator. If you haven't heard of Cairn 2nd Edition, I recommend picking it up. It's a fantastic rule set. I've been having a lot of fun playing with Cairn and other odd-like games like it. And if you want to support the channel, one way you can do that is by using the link in the description. It's an affiliate link to purchase this and my other reviews from DriveThruRPG, where each purchase just helps flow a little money into the channel, but doesn't cost you anything extra. So thanks again for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Have a wonderful day. See you in the next one.